Yeah, so there is, inside the item itself, you can permit users to view this content. You can say no, so it hides it. So actually, I'm going to do that with this one. I'm going to say no for your folder. Students can't see it. And now you can see availability. Item is not available. So even though the students can get to this section by clicking on Roz, when they get here, they won't see anything.
Right.
Because this is unavailable. So then to make it available, you would edit it. And then you would go down here and say, yes, permit users to view the content. And then submit.
Okay, so it can all be separate. So you could have a week 5 that doesn't show up until 5 weeks into the course.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then each item can actually appear by day or whatever.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Now this next question, my attachment I just had there was in a doc. Would I have to scan it and actually translate it into a PDF?
No, so when you're in Microsoft Word, when you do save as, there's an option to save it as a PDF. All right, so we're all back. So we'll have some more work time too. So did anyone discover anything interesting on their travel that they'd like to share?
Yes, I tried to upload a video, and it's better to do it in YouTube than to put it on the content area. That was
yes. Yeah, and we do also have a tool called Kaltura that you can upload videos to. That works very well in Blackboard. Anyone else notice something, Marta?
I just want to put in a cheerleading plug for Kaltura.
Yeah.
When I first used it, I found it very clunky. It doesn't have a lot of finesse. It doesn't have the millisecond finesse of editing that Camtasia, for example, does. But it's just a wonderful, brilliant tool for putting yourself up in the corner of the screen, navigating Blackboard and showing your students what's up for this week. And I just think it's great. You can, bang out a 3 to 4 minute video in, 10 minutes. Just have your list of stuff ready to go and where you're going to click. And I found it really terrific. Now I had it saved in a folder that said Marta's videos, but I also had it embedded within the content where it was relevant, the week that I was introducing. And I may not have had to have the separate video thing. I probably should just get rid of that and just leave it inside the content. But if you haven't used Kaltura, just use it. Use it a few times. Play around, in your office. It works great, and I can't say enough about it. I think it's terrific.
Yay! Thank you. And we do have a webinar next Thursday on Kaltura. So if you're brand new, we have one in the morning for brand new people, and then in the afternoon we have a few more advanced things with Kaltura. So that's next Thursday.
One of the things, maybe I misheard the directions, but what I did was I created my folder in course content, or the content folder, rather than in the sidebar. So there's a little drop down with the folder that I created where you can move it. And I did that relatively easy. And I've done it once before, but I'm just calling that, if you find you have put something somewhere and you feel like it needs to get moved, rather than having to redo it, you can actually just move the whole thing.
Yeah, you can. So it's a little clunky. So Blackboard does make things a little difficult sometimes, but where there's a will, there's a way. So we can usually show you how.
Anne, I have a question.
Yeah.
In the grade book, I understand that there is a tool to alert me when students have not submitted an assignment. Or is there a way for me to see quickly who has submitted an assignment?
Yes. So if you, actually, let me share my screen and I'll show you.
Okay.
So I'm going to go back here to our class.
Mhm.
And if I go to the grade center,
Okay.
I'll go to the full grade center,
Mhm.
then I can see some of these assignments. And if there's a blank, that means nothing's been submitted.
Oh, okay. I thought there was a way to, I was thinking that I thought I had heard or perhaps misheard that there was a way to use the grade book to notify the student that they were missing.
Yes.
Yes.
So it doesn't notify you, it notifies the student.
That's
Yep. So what you can do is at the top of the column, you can click on the little drop down next to the top of the column here,
Yep.
and you can do send reminder. And that send reminder will take those 3 students that have the blanks here, and it will send an email to them saying, you have not submitted anything for paper number 1.
okay. So that's when I click on the little chevron.
Yep.
And the drop down.
Yep. So if you have students that have dropped the class, you want to make sure that you make them inactive. Otherwise, they'll also get that email as well.
Right. Now, I have another question about the reminder. Is there a way to customize the reminder?
Nope.
Okay. That would be helpful
Yeah.
because I'd like to be able to customize it. Hey, I noticed in the grade book you haven't submitted an assignment for this, blah, blah, blah. I'd rather put it
Yep.
into my own sort of words, depending on the assignment.
Yep.
And, reminding and putting perhaps a due date in there. But right now, there is no way to do that.
No, it's just a canned message that goes. Yeah. But there is, I don't know if you've ever checked out under evaluation, the retention center.
Mm-hmm. No, I have
So
not.
the retention center does a couple of things. I don't have any students that are not doing well, so none of them show up for me right now. Actually, let me go into another class so I can show you what that does.
Okay. And I'm sorry, Anne, the evaluation is on the left-hand side under
In the
what?
control panel, evaluation, and retention center. So in this class, I have this terrible Ann Fency who is at risk because she has missed deadlines
Mhm.
and she hasn't accessed the course recently. So I can click on one of these little red dots and it gives me more information. So she has missed 8 deadlines.
Mhm.
And I can click on this little red dot and see, oh, it's been 20 days since they logged in to Blackboard.
Beautiful. Great. Okay.
So that gives me information. And then with that information, I can click notify the student and send them my own email. So when I click notify student, it gives me the email screen and it gives just a canned message here as a
And I can change
suggestion.
it. Yeah.
But I can, you can change that.
Great.
So if I click on the missed deadlines, it also lets me see what are the late submissions.
Mhm.
So I can see on this list. And then when I notify the student, I can say, okay, so I noticed that you missed this assignment and that one and this one. Make sure you at least get this one in because it's worth this many points.
Okay. Now, I also noticed, Anne, under notify, could you click on the drop down for notify? Now it says students and observers. So my course steward, for example, for my spring rollout of Bio 100 will be listed. And if I click on that, then my steward will also get
a copy of it. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I did not realize this is obviously what the course steward is what they look at.
Yes. They use the retention center. Yep.
Great.
Yep.
Great. No, that's really important. I did not know that this existed because I kept thinking, how does she know that, how these students are doing? I guess she has to look at the entire grade book, but now I know that this is wonderful because last semester I had wasted, a lot of my course steward's time by simply saying, hey, can you tell me about so-and-so? They haven't done this and they haven't done that. And it turned out that the course steward had already been in contact with them and already exchanged emails, and that's very good. Now that I know what their resource is, I can use it as a resource as well. That's important.
Another thing that you might talk to your steward about is that if you click on the student in this at-risk table,
Yeah,
you can also leave notes here. So you can add a
for
note
the
and
steward.
say, yeah, between you and the steward.
Yeah.
So, and it just gets saved here. So you can say, I emailed this student on 1/8/18 and she responded that her mom died or something like
Got
that.
it. Got it.
And then
Great.
save that here. And now this
Beautiful.
note is here in the history of the student. And any
And
emails,
that Ann is by clicking on the student.
clicking on the student. Yep. And then if I sent an email to the student, so I'm going to say notify student, and I can just leave this, and I'm just going to hit submit and send a notification.
Mhm.
Now that notification is also listed here too. So every time I email the student from the retention center, that gets
Got it.
saved here.
Got it.
So the retention center is the only place that saves emails.
Yeah, I did notice that because there's no, in another Blackboard iteration that I use for a different university, they have a course messages tool that saves everything.
Yep.
But I keep having to search my Gmail account, which is unwieldy sometimes. Also because this tool, Ann, if I'm not mistaken, this is going only to their UMaine address.
Mhm. Yep.
Some students send me messages from their phones and their other devices, and it gets very confusing when I'm trying to figure out, you know, when did they respond to me, which one has to do with the course, and it's complicated. This is a wonderful tool. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah.
Thank you. Great.
And you can also click the monitor button on the student, and that will keep them in the retention center, even if they don't end up in the retention center because they're doing well. They'll still end up in your, here, I'll just check the monitor button on the student. And now in the retention center, I can see over on the side, I can keep my eye on the student even if they don't end up in the retention center.
Got it. Mhm. Perfect.
You send an email to a student through the retention center.
Yep.
And are they able to respond to that email?
Yes, and it goes to your main email address.
Yeah.
Yep. But that response is not saved in the retention center.
Okay.
That's where the notes come in handy.
Yeah.
Ann?
Mhm.
I have one more question.
Sure.
I heard something which I'm so embarrassed to say I did not realize. When I have been sending weekly announcements to my students, I had been placing with mashups my little 5-minute video in there.
Mhm.
Now, when I emailed them, you're saying to me today that the Kaltura videos actually don't show up. Only the announcement shows up, and then they have to log into Blackboard
Yep.
to see that. So there's no way to fix that.
No, and actually what they do see a thumbnail of the video, and when they click on it, they get an error message.
Okay, I did not know that because I never actually, you know, clicked on my own announcements. To
Yeah,
know
yeah.
that. But
So
that's okay.
it's a
That's
limitation of Blackboard that it won't let you put any materials through the announcements email. So like attachments or videos.
right,
things
and
like
that
yeah.
makes sense because, of course, they're looking on their devices or their phones to see, oh, I got an announcement. But
Yep.
that's okay because I can direct them back. But it kind of changes my mind about not having that videos from Marta folder in there accessible to them, because when they go to Blackboard, they can see the latest one because I keep them in order when they come in.
Yep.
So that might still be useful for them because sometimes I send things that have to do with current events.
Mhm.
Sometimes I send things that have to do, and sometimes they can come on the same day. Like I usually make my announcements Wednesday morning, or Thursday morning for the week. And now I know the limitation. So they'll see a thumbnail, but they won't be able to open it. So maybe I won't bother to embed it. Just remind them, hey, double back to Blackboard to see this week's announcement.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. All right. Super. Thank you.
Or, I mean, you can still embed it in the announcement and just say you need to log into Blackboard to watch the video.
Yeah, I'll have to put that as a, as a coda at the end of every announcement. So remember, you have to be logged into Blackboard to see this.
Yep.
That's great. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
because some students get stuck at the error message. They just don't know what to do when they get an error message and they give up.
Yeah, but I can also, I never bothered introducing that folder. I just sort of made it appear, and now, in retrospect, I never told them what was in there. That's just a place where I was collecting all of them because I said, well, they'll see it as they go into, they'll see it in my announcement, not knowing that they never saw it in my announcement. So that would account for some low eyeballs on my videos. Now I know. A lot of students saw them regularly because a few of them would pop into office hour and I'd remind them, by the way, every week there's a video, and they'd go, oh, okay. But now I know. Lesson learned. Thank you.
Marta mentioned students receiving announcements and things and accessing course content through devices. I know that UMA made the Blackboard app live for like our iDevices, our iPads, our phones. Is there an expectation that we as the instructor are going to interact with the app and see what our course looks like? And there are a lot of devices out there.
Yep.
And a lot of different versions of each device. Is there an expectation that I'm going to be trying to manage that, or am I just focusing on the web?
No, because there's no official policy from UMA about mobile access to Blackboard. Blackboard itself does not support mobile browsers. So even though their site says that you may have some luck with accessing Blackboard through a mobile browser, and unfortunately some students tried to access Blackboard only through a mobile browser, so we try to recommend students to actually access their course through a laptop or a desktop, especially if they're like submitting assignments. But the app can be convenient for students because like if there's an announcement, they can easily read it there on their phone without having to open up their email. They can also set reminders on it too, so that if a new assignment is posted, they get an announcement about it. Or if their assignment has been graded, they can get an announcement that says, a reminder on their phone that says, hey, your paper has been graded, and they can go in and check on the grade on it or the comments. So it can be really convenient for students, but you don't need to worry about what it looks like on the mobile app, because it's Blackboard is already kind of set up to look good on different screens, regardless of what one you're using. All right, so we're all back. So who has something they want to share?
That was tough.
Yeah?
I think I'm going to have an ongoing need for you guys.
All right, we're happy to be here for you.
Okay. Phew.
Well, the biggest problem Kathleen and I had was with Zoom, going back from the break room.
Oh.
I couldn't help her because I don't see her full screen, the Zoom menus.
Yeah, Zoom hides itself. Yeah. Yeah, Marta.
Is there a one-stop shopping bar so that I can go in and see the collection of views to any of my announcements, videos, whatever? Because I try to track the number of views. You can go in, you can see them for the individual things. Is there like a one-stop thing that I could download, for example, as an Excel file?
Yes, there are reports.
Yes.
So you can kind of play around with them and see which one is giving you the information that you want. But in the control panel under evaluation, you'll find course reports. And there are some that will show you time spent in different areas of the course. There are some that will show you what has been clicked on and how many times. There are some that will show you the content by the course as a whole, and
Yes.
some that will show you by student. So you'll just kind of need to play around with them to see
Yep, that's perfect.
which is the right report for you.
Yeah, perfect.
Anything else we noticed? Okay, so with the last 5 minutes, I'd like to ask you all a question. What will you be doing in your Blackboard courses that maybe you learned today?
Everything.
Yeah.
I'm going to try, and I'm going to try out one of the modules. I've been doing syllabus reviews and PowerPoints and quizzes for a while, but I like the module setup, I think, pretty clearly, and
Yep.
I think I'm going to test that out for the 4 classes that I'm teaching and use that right from the beginning.
Great. And I really like the idea of putting your syllabus in a module, in a learning module, because it's really user-friendly for the student. It's one thing to have that 14-page document that they download, and they can download it every week and they can scroll through it to find stuff. But it's another thing to have that table of contents on the side where they can just click on grading and they can jump right there. Or they can just click on course schedule and jump right there. So that's really nice. It does mean that you have to make the module, and then you have to put your syllabus into multiple chunks, into multiple items, but it does make it much easier to digest for the students. Yeah, Marta.
So you do suggest taking the syllabus and sort of deconstructing it and making course calendar with lab calendar and so on. Because I think I have my syllabus and it's all one long blah, 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 with the schedule at the end.
Yep.
Okay.
So it is helpful to have it in that format where a student can download it and actually print it out. So some students like to do that. But to have to download it every time they want to look at it and scroll through, that's cumbersome.
Okay.
So that's just one extra reason why a student won't look at a syllabus.
Okay.
So to encourage them to really make use of the syllabus, it is a good idea to chunk it out for them.
Okay.
In classes that I've taken online throughout my undergraduate education, one of the things that I loved most was when an instructor would upload the syllabus so that I could download it and have it somewhere, but also as they built their course, each week, it's the exact same thing that's written in the syllabus about what my expectations are, and then it's linked below all the things that need to be done. So chunking it out, not just in a learning module, but throughout the course is very, very helpful.
Yep.
I'm with Guy. I think learning modules are awesome, and I'm going to be using them.
All right, so we are at time. I want to thank you all for coming today for these essentials of Blackboard. And we are available to help you one-on-one. We are open Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Our phone number is 262-7979. You can email us at uc-fdc@maine.edu with your questions. And you can also pop right back into this Zoom room during daytime hours as well. And one of us will be available to answer your questions. So feel free to click on this Zoom link again anytime that you have questions. You don't have to make an appointment. You can just pop right in.